What's good, everyone? And hopefully all of you guys had happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all of that. It's so good to be talking with you guys today. And in today's video, I wanted to go over how Nintendo's 2024 plans are starting to become more clear and very interesting at this point. There's a number of things that I wanted to go over if you hadn't been watching the video or checking out my live streams as of late. Now, before we get into any of that, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on the video as well, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. As we head into 2024, I've got a new gaming room that I am building, theater room as well with my house, so it should be pretty cool as videos and live streams are going to get a lot more interesting in 2024 as well. So look forward to updates on that on my Twitter/X page, or I'll also put updates on my videos or on the community page as well. Now let's jump into why Nintendo has a very interesting 2024, because I think there's going to be some awesome reveals and announcements. So let's just talk about the current state of Nintendo at this point with the Nintendo Switch. So the sales of current Mario and Zelda games are doing incredibly well. We know that Tears of the Kingdom is probably around 20 million units or so at this point. It was at 19.5 million as of the end, I think, of September or something like that. So we'll have the whole holiday season to see how the sales are, and we'll figure out that once Nintendo announces the numbers next year at their investors meeting for the holiday wrap-up. But I think that the big thing here that we're seeing quite a bit is the sales of the Mario games. The Mario movie on Blu-ray, on direct demand, people are going out there and buying Mario games in droves. I've personally seen tons of people on social media post they got Super Mario Bros. Wonder for Christmas, or they downloaded it on the eShop and they're enjoying playing the game. So now it's actually even trending on Twitter because more and more people are getting the opportunity to play the game. And that's something that I stressed back when people were trying to say, oh, Spider-Man's gonna outsell it by a lot, or it's doing this and that. I'm like, wait till the holidays, guys. Wait till you see it. And it's starting to really manifest, because not only is it one of the top games on the eShop with an install base of over 100 million, but it's also the top game on Amazon, and it's creeped up as one of the best sellers for the year on Amazon and #1 in pretty much every single region. So expect a massive holiday boost for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. We're also seeing Super Mario RPG continue to do well as all Mario games are being pushed up and boosted, and the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle with the eShop sales is just continuing to just kill it. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is just a super evergreen game. This system, out of any Nintendo systems that they have done in the past number of decades, this will be their first evergreen install base, to where they're actually installing into the younger generation, in addition to the current generation of gamers that are playing, that Nintendo is here and they've got games where you want to buy their system to play the games. Now, we've had that before in the past, but it's always been some type of butt or gimmick attached to it when it comes to the DS or the dual screens or the Wii and the gimmick there. This is the first 100 million system that's essentially you get what you get, and it is what it is. It's about the games fully without any of the gimmicks, but you can just take it anywhere that you want and play it. If that's the gimmick, that's an incredible gimmick, because so many other companies are now starting to copy that gimmick when it comes down to it. But Nintendo's been doing this for a very long time. So I do feel that the Mario games, Legend of Zelda, is carrying a ton of weight for Nintendo. Plus, there's a bunch of sales on the eShop. There are people that are buying third-party games. It's going pretty well overall, considering the Nintendo Switch is in its calendar year, 7th year, going into its 8th year. So Nintendo's definitely probably happy with what's going on with the Mario and Zelda sales. Now let's get into the next thing here when it comes down to it, and that's the B tier releases, and we're heading into 2024, and this is where things once again get very interesting overall. You have Another Code, you have Princess Peach Showtime, you have Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, you have Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. There are a number of games, but those are all B tier-ish extra games or remasters. That's not the meat and potatoes in terms of what's going to take the highlight or what Nintendo's really banking on in 2024. I mean, we'll see if there's other announcements. Maybe there is a Pokemon Legends or a Pokemon Let's Go Johto or some type of other big game announcement, which there definitely could be at this point, because we didn't really get any big new Pokemon game this year other than the DLC that was released that people are really enjoying. And I do feel that Nintendo will have some other big games for 2024, but not necessarily for the standard Nintendo Switch. And I think that that's where things get a little bit hazy, right? We haven't really been hearing a lot of stuff from insiders or from rumors in terms of what Nintendo is going to do outside of those games. Now, there's been some things here and there, but those have been rumored for a while, which we will get into. But the Nintendo Switch sales itself are still going strong despite its age. We're getting estimates that it's around 16 plus million sales for 2023 by itself, and it's one of the most gifted and searched items for tech or dedicated video games in the world right now, especially on Amazon and various other sites. Many people did get a Nintendo Switch for Christmas or for the holidays, so that's definitely a good thing. Now, the thing about this that gets kind of Nintendo fans in a loop, you almost have two sides forming. You have people obviously that love the Nintendo Switch and say they can continue supporting that system with their big first-party games, and they'll get some third-party here and there, and they can just continue going. Then you have another side that says, you know what, it's time for the next thing. Then you have people that are kind of in the middle ground, like, hey, I'm going to play my Switch till the next thing comes out, and I'll buy it whenever it does. We'll have to wait and see the games and all that. And I personally feel that there's no point in being on like one side or the other or anything like that. One, whenever they announce something, that's fine. They announce something. They'll have the new system out. There'll be games, whatever the case is. But two, Nintendo's already leading many people to believe that they're going to support the system even after its launch. Now, obviously, you can't do everything, especially if it's going to be a super ambitious game and maybe it just can't run or it can't be handled on the Nintendo Switch. But I still feel that Nintendo will have some games and still have some things for the standard Nintendo Switch. I think that they will try to support the system with some titles even after the next system comes out. Now, we saw this before. Nintendo's tried to do it before, not necessarily had the best success, but if you look at the Nintendo 3DS and the Switch, there were still games that were coming out for the Nintendo 3DS even after the Switch was a thing and doing really well. We saw stuff like Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia. We saw games, I think, like the Mario and Luigi game. We also saw Metroid Samus Returns as well. So there were games that came out afterwards, and Nintendo did try to support it. Things just died off quite quickly because it's like, why am I going to buy a bunch of games for 3DS when we have the Nintendo Switch here? I do think, though, that the Nintendo Switch is such a bigger and more popular system, and it has more ties to people in terms of the consumer base with Nintendo Switch Online. That's the big kicker here. Nintendo still has a bunch of these people, millions upon millions of people that are on Nintendo Switch Online, and they're not going to rush over to the next system and buy it immediately, right? Like, Nintendo has 30 million, 40 million people on Nintendo Switch Online paying for a membership, whether it's the expansion pass or the basic tier, and you're not going to get 30, 40 million people instantly to buy the Nintendo Switch 2. So you still want to keep those people there. You still want to supply games. You still want to supply the N64 games, the online stuff, and maybe have a Mario game here or there, or have something here or there for those people as more people get into the next system. So for some people think that Nintendo's going to drop the Switch like a cold turkey, it doesn't make sense. And Nintendo's never done that in the past because they never had paid online. They never had that long-term type of commitment because it's always free online and it was always just virtual consoles are tied to that platform. And now at this point, obviously Nintendo has those memberships and they're going to take over the Nintendo Switch Online to the next system. They've already confirmed that in an investor meeting years ago that they are going to have Nintendo Switch Online and your Nintendo accounts over to the next system to have that long-term relationship. So I do feel that Nintendo is going to continue to support both of the systems as we go forward because of Nintendo Switch Online, and that being a major driver of revenue. Now, Nintendo Switch 2 plans are still kind of hidden. Obviously, 2024 seems to be the target year. If you look at the software that's coming out, I've got personal information that Monolith Soft, Nintendo's biggest teams, have already moved on to the next Switch, and there will be content, but we just quite don't know what's going on. We don't know when Nintendo's going to announce this system. We don't know what Nintendo's going to do with the announcement. Is it going to be a standard video like before where they say, okay, here's a video and it shows off the concept of the system, and then later they have a live / Nintendo Direct presentation where they go over everything? I think that was incredibly effective marketing to where you can't really mess that up, right? If you have a simple trailer that's put out there where people can see what the name is, what the system is, what's going on with it, what the concepts and ideas are, so people say, okay, you get the hype going, and then later you have a detailed presentation where you show off everything, where you talk about the online, you talk about the memberships, you talk about the price, you talk about the release date, and then you show us the games and all of that. I think that works really well because nobody was confused, right? The whole confusion thing when it comes down to it, which Nintendo's been in that before in the past. Nobody was ever confused with the Nintendo Switch. We knew exactly what it was controlled instead of that some type of live presentation where they're showing a controller and maybe not the system and people don't know what's going on. You can really dictate everything. So I think it makes sense for Nintendo to do something like that. Now, it might not take exactly the form of what we saw with the Nintendo Switch, codenamed NX at the time, but I do think it'll be some type of variation of that. But when it's going to happen, when the system is releasing, what the features are, and what's going on with it is still somewhat unknown outside of some rumors from Eurogamer and rumors from VGC, which we have went over with the Matrix demo and the DLSS and things like that. So if you want to know more about that, obviously it's out there, Nate the Hate. There's plenty of content on that. But what can you expect with the Nintendo Switch 2? What are some of the rumored big games or things that could be happening? Well, a 3D Mario at launch, I think, is going to be a guarantee. They had Super Mario Odyssey at near the launch of the Nintendo Switch a number of months afterwards, right? But it was in that same calendar year and it did really well. There was no reason to really release another one. They just released older games and brought those back, and then they did a big 2D Mario game that we got with Wonder. So I think that it's going to be a similar approach, but this time it's going to be right there at the launch. Big 3D Mario game at the launch to really drive the system, especially after the Mario Bros. Movie is approaching its 1-year anniversary in 2024. I think it's going to be huge to have that big 3D Mario game. Obviously, Mario Kart was huge for the whole generation, the best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch. I see Nintendo preparing and getting ready the next big Mario Kart game for the Nintendo Switch 2, but that might not be a launch title, maybe a bit afterwards by the end of the year. Nintendo's done this before when it comes to it. They did have like Mario Kart 7 on the Nintendo 3DS, not at launch, but in that same calendar year at the end of the year. So I do see them trying to get Mario Kart, a brand new one, out within the first 6 to 7 months or sooner of the Nintendo Switch 2. There's still Donkey Kong that could be coming as well. It's been rumored for a while now that Donkey Kong is coming. We don't know if it's going to be a 3D or 2D or a hybrid or 2.5D. I think it could be something like Super Mario 3D World or something like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, but with Donkey Kong. So you have some elements that are kind of rooted in 2D, but then you also have some nice 3D graphics and elements as well as you go through kind of smaller shaped areas and collect different things and find secret passages and beat up bad guys. I think that would be a pretty cool thing to do with Donkey Kong and make it to where it's not quite all the way one side or another. A perfect blend of what makes 2D and 3D Donkey Kong really good. So I can see that. And then we can also talk about another game that's important for many people out there, and that's Metroid Prime 4. Is that going to still be a Switch game? Is that going to be a Switch 2 game? Well, I think it's going to be a cross-gen game. I think it's coming out to Nintendo Switch because Nintendo stated it's Nintendo Switch. And I think it's going to come to Switch 2 as well. Now, we've seen Nintendo do this multiple times when it comes to in the past with various games. With The Legend of Zelda, we saw it with Breath of the Wild. We saw it with Twilight Princess. Nintendo's done this before where they have it on a previous system and then the new system, so I do see them doing that again with Metroid Prime 4. So I think that it could be pretty good overall. Now, can Nintendo support two systems? This is something that I see people just kind of go on one side or another on. And yes, Nintendo can support two systems. Like I stated before, they've done it a little bit with the Nintendo 3DS, but I think that the Nintendo Switch is just so much more successful that they will have a path to actually have the support for both systems, and with the Nintendo Switch Online and maybe a couple other smaller games here or there. And of course, people are still playing Nintendo Switch, so I think it's going to be fine. People are freaking out about this. I don't really think it's going to be that big of a deal overall, but it's going to be interesting to see exactly how Nintendo does this going forward, because things are getting crazy overall with the landscape of the Nintendo Switch and the fact that it's still here and still thriving, even though it hasn't been selling as much as it used to sell before in the past. The fact that it's still selling as good as it is a testament to the games that are coming out and the concept that it does have. So I see Nintendo doing something very similar with a few tweaks here or there with the Nintendo Switch 2. But what do you guys think overall when it comes down to it? What are you looking forward to playing when it comes to the confirmed games? I know for me, Princess Peach Showtime, that's one of my most anticipated games. What are you guys looking forward to playing on all systems? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for me is another big game that I'm looking forward to. You guys can check out my top 25 Nintendo Switch and JRPGs that I'm looking forward to in 2024 if you missed that video. But of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace.